So if you didn't know, witches have ceremonial gowns, and this is my one. I have my protection necklace and bracelet. Before we want to do any sort of spell work, we have to cleanse. I use sound because smoke is very harmful for anything that has smaller lungs. We can use either a white or black candle. I chose a white one because, funny enough, I didn't have a black one, and I'm carving my protective sigil in the side of it, so when it's lit it can protect me as I'm doing this spell work, and it's going to come in handy for when we need it later on. You're going to see why in a second. I always have a protective candle lit as I'm doing any sort of spells. I light it and the flame gets massive instantly. So as you can see, the flame gets so big, I get scared that it's going to burn my flowers, but it doesn't. It eventually goes down and it produces some sort of black smoke and everything is fine. I take a second just to observe what I've just seen, but it's okay. We then go on like nothing has ever happened. So once we have looked at the candle long enough, we're going to grab our jar that we're going to use for this protection spell. So the first ingredient we're going to use is thyme. This is going to protect us and ward off any bad energy. Make sure to add 3 pinches of thyme. The next ingredient we're going to use is sage, and that's for protection and cleansing our space around us. So the next ingredient we're going to add is called elderflower, and we're going to add 3 pinches of that, and I will show you how you can forage for that in the summer yourself. The next ingredient you can't go buy, you have to find yourself, and I found this all over my house, and that white whisker is my prized possession. Whiskers are such a good source of protection, more points if they come from your familiar. We're going to take a bay leaf and we're going to do a protective sigil, same one we did on the candle, on the bay leaf, and then we want to roll it towards us to bring the protection to us. Bay leaves are fragile, just like me, so it doesn't matter if it breaks, just keep going. Carefully making sure it doesn't unravel itself, you're going to plop that straight into the jar. So I got this oil very cheaply at my witchy store, and it's amber oil, and you're just going to put 3 drops of that into the jar. You're going to take some orange oil and you're going to put 3 drops of that into the jar as well. This is where I mess up a titsy tiny bit. I put way too much salt in it, but you can't really mess up in witchcraft, so I just go with it. And you don't need to have this much salt in yours. I just did in mine, so do with that as you will. The way I see it is you can't really mess up by putting too much of a protective ingredient in a protective spell. Trust me when I say wax is difficult to get out, so make sure you put a piece of paper down for this next bit. We're going to drip the candle on the jar to seal everything into it, and we're going to say the incantation as we do it. With the power I hold within me, I activate this jar you see to shield me from harm and all things that are wrong, so mote it be, this is my song. After waiting for the wax to cool for a little bit, I like just to place my thumbprint on the top so I know whose protection jar it is. Thank you so much for watching my witchy wisdoms, and I shall see you next week.